Well, it is time for another installment of Flashpoint on the eve of Orlando United Day. News 6 is paying tribute to Pulse 1 year later. Eric Sandoval talks with Orlando City Commissioner Patty Sheehan.
Good morning, I'm Eric Sandoval. She has been a consistent voice in Orlando's LGBT community, and for the last year, Commissioner Patty Sheehan's support has only grown stronger since the Pulse tragedy by really being a leader in helping unite the city beautiful. And joining us this morning here on Flashpoint is City Commissioner of Orlando's 4th District, Patty Sheehan.
Well,
thank you so much for being with us this morning. You know, at the 6-month mark in December, we had talked to you, and you said that the 6 months went by in the blink of an eye.
It really did. I mean, Mayor Marty Walsh warned me, you know, because he came from Boston, and he said, you know what, this is going to go by like the blink of an eye, and it's actually been more like a year, because there's just been so many victims, so much to do this year, and it literally, you kind of look at the milestones that happened beforehand, and it was Fringe Festival that I had gone to prior to it happening, and it's just kind of
wrapping up, yeah,
and it's just now it's just starting, and I'm thinking, wow, this is the last time my life was normal.
So a year, has that whole year gone by in the blink of an eye?
It really has.
Slow down in parts at all?
No, I mean, I have to tell you, it's just been, and there's just been a lot of need, a lot of sorrow, a lot of grief, a lot of working through with the families. I mean, I'm glad we have the Orlando United Assistance Center. I've gotten to know a lot of the families, a lot of the victims. They become friends of mine, and they're just good people, and you know, they miss their kids, and we wanted to make sure that in working with the Day of Remembrance that we were sensitive to their needs, and that requires communicating with them. And
absolutely.
And I adore them. They're really good people, and they had really good kids, and it's a sad thing for us that these incredibly productive and wonderful young people are no longer with us.
Absolutely. So let's harken back a little bit before June 11th of last year. You know, Barbara Palma, Pulse, she opened the club in honor of her brother.
Yeah.
And that was what Pulse signified.
I was there when it opened. I mean, it was one of the nicest clubs that we had. It was state of the art. They had all these LED. They had this, when they first opened it, this white room, and it was all LEDs, and it glowed in all these different colors, and it was like almost a theme park. It was like we'd never had such a nice bar before. It was just a really incredible place. And the other thing was she would have all kinds of events for us. If we had HIV, breast cancer, anything, she was, and political stuff. She was the first one to offer up her establishment for us. Yeah.
And it was really a safe place for not only the LGBT community to go, but really the whole community.
It was, and the interesting thing about these young kids is, yes, over half of the, a little less than half of the victims were not gay, but that's the thing. This was their safe place to all be together, and to this new generation, it doesn't matter, you know? I mean, it's not that it doesn't matter who you are, it's just that it's not like they don't pick friends that way, they just accept everyone how they are. And that's why it was so tragic, because they were friends. One was a mom. One of the victims was a mother dancing with her son on the dance floor. That's why it was just so awful. It's because it's the kind of community and kind of safe place that we want to create, and it was destroyed that day on June 12th.
All right, so let's talk about the memorial that Barbara Palma really wants to see built. She does want the input from city commissioners.
She wants the input from the city. She wants the input from the families. You know, she's going to be raising money nationally in order to do it right. She wants to do a museum. She wants it to have an educational piece, because there is a lot of LGBTQ homophobia. There's problems. There's lack of acceptance. We're the victims of the largest, you know, mass violence in American history. So that's why I think that, you know, that she's committed, and we're all committed to making sure that the story is told. We can learn from our history, so we don't repeat it. And and
honor the victims.
And honor the victims. You know, that's the thing that I've heard from the families over and over and over again this past year, is that they don't want their children forgotten. They're so fearful that people are going to forget who they are. And we're actually having an exhibit in City Hall. You know, I love the way that the community has responded, and we actually have portraits in City Hall that they're visible right now. Have you seen them?
Yes.
They're amazing, and they were all done from people all over America. They volunteered to pick somebody and to do their portrait. And we're going to be doing the official unveiling on June 3rd, but they're already available for the public to see. And I think it's so important. You know, we actually had florists that from all over the nation that delivered flowers and created wreaths for each individual victim.
That was moving.
And for me, it was kind of like the AIDS quilt. It actually put it in perspective, because it was almost like a person standing there. Because when you talk about 49 victims, it's one thing. But when you talk about the perspective of seeing those individual,
massive pieces.
And they were the size of a person. And they had their faces. It really put it in perspective that we had lost 49 people.
Very, very good point. Hold that thought. We want to still talk to you a little bit more. When we come back, more with Commissioner Patty Sheehan about Orlando United Day. We'll be right back.
And what people don't realize is that my community has had to fight for the right to be. We've had to fight for our jobs. We've had to fight for our civil rights. And it's unfortunate that it took 49 deaths to get people to understand the amount of persecution that my community has faced over these many, many years.
That is Commissioner Patty Sheehan speaking just days following the Pulse nightclub shooting. Of course, she joins us this morning on Flashpoint. I was there covering that story the day that you said that. And I know you have been a pioneer in this community as far as civil rights goes, bringing that to the city level. You know, compare for people who may not have been here 20, 30 years ago to where we are now.
Well, I have to tell you, when I first came to City Hall, the first day I walked into City Hall, someone had written my placard as Patty She-Man.
Really?
Yeah. It was actually on the dais, and Mayor Head was horrified, and she had it taken down immediately. But someone had thought that was a really funny joke, which it wasn't. You know, when I ran, there was a headline on in the Sentinel that said "Gay candidate on ballot." You know, they wanted to make sure that that was the only thing that people ever talked about, what I had to offer and what I wanted to do, and. You know, people at City Hall were afraid to come talk to me. I used to call them the After 5 Club. If people wanted to talk about something in their job, they used to come after 5 when everyone else had left, so they could feel like they could talk to me. Because we didn't have discrimination protections, and people were afraid to come out because they were afraid they were going to lose their jobs. And I actually almost lost my job at the Department of Agriculture because I'd gone to the March on Washington for lesbian gay rights on my vacation time, and I was in the back of one of the pictures. And someone saw me and sent it to my division director in Tallahassee, and I almost lost my job. So I have experienced that kind of discrimination just for simply being who I am. So we've had that happen, and you know, losing your job, losing your partner, losing your kids because your spouse might have an issue when you're coming out. My community has experienced that for years. And then to have something like this happen, just the absolute horror of it, when after all these years of change, for things to get better, to have something like horrible like that happen to me. I mean, I was like, we were just supposed to be celebrating the anniversary of gay marriage that week.
Exactly.
And instead we're burying people. It was horrifying.
However, do you feel that the city sort of used that as a hinge and came together and moved forward in such a positive way?
And you just played a clip of me with Mayor Jacobs. I mean, wow, what an amazing change of heart she had, and bringing together those religious leaders. I mean, the one thing that made my mouth just absolutely drop and almost gasp was her aide asked me to immediately come over to the county chambers, and she had all the religious leaders assembled, and there was all these people who had been against my rights all these years, and every time we had tried to pass something, they were on the other side of LGBT equality, and to have them come forward and say, you know what, we were on the wrong side of history, and this was the wrong thing to happen, and we need to support the community. I was like, the LGBTQ community, my mouth dropped. But that's why I say losing these kids was horrible, but it changed people's perspectives, and it's changed lives, and it's changed hearts. And you know, the religious leaders were horrified by the Westboro Baptist Church. I've been dealing with the signs that say God hates fags, and you're going to hell my whole life. So now the community as a whole saw that, and they were horrified by it.
Well, what other cities do you know of that we could possibly learn something from as far as LGBT rights goes? As far as we've come, I'm sure that the city of Orlando can still learn more.
Well, you know, I mean, I go to national conferences as an openly gay elected official, and I always used to laugh because I would go to, you know, I'd talk to people from San Francisco, and I'd talk to people from gosh, there's that little, from Massachusetts, from Boston, and from the other places, and they were working on things that were so far ahead of what we were doing in Orlando. But I'm proud that over the course of my time on City Council, we've done things like non-discrimination protections, and then we protected our employees. We did a domestic partnership registry, and then Mayor Dyer had the ceremony for the first gay marriages on the steps of City Hall. It's been an amazing thing to watch that equality happen. But like I say, there's still people that hate the gay community, and I do believe that this was a hate crime. I mean, I understand there's talk of terrorism and everything like that, but he chose a gay club, and I do not feel he chose that for no reason at all. He had gone to gay days, to Disney to look to cause problems. He had gone in other gay bars in this community. He wanted to target the gay community because he hated us.
All right, so let's talk about actually the piece of sound we just heard from you with Mayor Jacobs was actually at the unveiling of the C2C flag at the county administration building last year.
Yeah.
That's going to be presented again.
Yeah, and Gilbert Baker just passed away, so it's kind of poignant for our community as well.
Very poignant.
And you know, I mean, I thought, but for her to say, yes, we're going to fly this flag on the county building, that was remarkable too.
That's the flag that we're seeing right there in the video.
It's his original flag. It actually has 2 extra bands. Each color stood for something when Gilbert originally designed it.
That's awesome.
And he was actually with Harvey Milk when he made that flag for the first time to fly when Harvey Milk had gotten elected supervisor in San Francisco.
Exactly. Well, tomorrow is Orlando United Day. Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing?
To be quite honest, I'm going to be everywhere. I'm going to start my day at Universal Studios. They lost a lot of their cast, their team members, they call them, and they had several of them that were injured, and some of them are thriving and doing incredibly well. Tony Moreau is a good friend of mine. He's doing well. But Luis Vilma,
I was going to say Luis Vilma was one of the first names that we learned.
He was just a lovely human being. I've gotten to know his family again. A young, straight fellow who wanted to go out with his friends and go dance. Yep. Wonderful person, so well known for his customer service that we were actually going to have him come to City Hall and teach our employees because he was so good at what he did. And now he's gone. You know, I mean, just what a tremendous loss. Yeah. But you know, but like I say, I really want to keep telling their stories too, because they will always be part of the Orlando story as much as they are a part of bringing everyone together, and as much as they are a part of being the largest fundraising in American history online. As much as those beautiful faces made a difference in people and religious people and all of that, we have to keep remembering their faces, and that's what the families want, and that's why we call it a day of remembrance and not an anniversary. People are like, why are you being such a snowflake, Patty? You know, I mean, they really. What difference does it make? It makes a difference to them. They don't want it. They say an anniversary is something I celebrate with my spouse, not the death of my child. So why can't we be sensitive to what they ask? Never ask people how they feel and then ignore it. So I think it's important.
And on that note, you're talking about sensitivity. Do politicians have a role in Orlando United Day? What role do politicians have?
And see, the reason I said I didn't want it to be about politicians because I was out on that street in that 100-degree heat, horrified by what some people in my line of work were saying. And they made it about themselves. And they didn't make it about these kids. And they weren't out there to help. I mean, I wasn't just giving interviews during that time. They had kids coming up to me, and they're young enough to be my children, and they're saying, my friend's in my apartment, he got shot, but he's illegal, what do I do? And I'm like, take him to the hospital. I mean, I dealt with Christopher Hansen. I met him on the street that morning. He was so traumatized. I said, please tell me you're going to go to the center and get help. I mean, I was directing people to get assistance, and then people from the neighborhoods were coming to the barricades. What can I do? Please go give blood. I mean, I composed a statement.
It was politics aside, though.
It was.
Being a community leader.
About being a leader and figuring out ways how to get those resources out there. So people see me on TV. It's not about being a talking head to me. It was about service and making sure that these kids were being taken care of, and saying LGBTQ, because I was horrified that nobody was saying that this happened in a gay club, and I did not want their lives erased, because it's happened before where LGBTQ people have been the victims of violence, and people want to erase their lives and pretend like it didn't happen.
On that note, what is your mission moving forward now? We're year one. Moving forward, what is your mission to remember the 49 victims and make sure they're not forgotten?
Well, you know, Eric, that's the thing. It's been so strange. It's been such crisis mode this whole time. But I think the Day of Remembrance is going to really set the tone for that in this entire day of activities. I think moving forward with Barbara, with the One Pulse Foundation, and building a memorial that's going to talk about them, their lives, and also about education. She really wants that to be a component, and I think it's really important to do that. I think the city will never be the same. But I think that, again, even though horrible tragedy happened here, the way that we came together, I see that togetherness continuing. So, again, I do not feel their lives were in vain at all, and we need to remember them so we don't repeat this history of hatred that led to their deaths.
Patty Sheehan, Commissioner for District 4 here in Orlando, thank you so much for being with us. More news and weather in just a few minutes. Stay with us.